Live from the Center Right Radio Studios in Tempe, Arizona, the Chips and Salsa Show. Conservative conversation, picoso, not mocoso, with Don Jorge Ortiz and Alicia Lara. George, former California Democrat union man turned legislative GOP chairman.
And Alice, former New Mexico Democrat turned legislative GOP district state committee woman.
Together, they are your Chips and Salsa Show hosts.
Get your guac on now with George Ortiz and Alice Lara. Don Jorge El Alacran.
I want to say thank you to Tim Horn because he filled in for us. Had a great show.
He did a great job. Great interview with the guests that he had, and we had some splendid guests with Ken Bennett.
He's running for governor, and then we also had Jim O'Connor, who's running for the corporation.
Jim O'Connor, and then they had a surprise guest of Gabrielle Cesaro Mercer show up. So all in all, it was a great show, and I hope people saw it. And if you didn't see it, you can go to the podcast on Center Right Radio, and watch our podcast, and also on Facebook on the Chips and Salsa Show.
Right, and so you would just need to go to centerright.live. And then you have all the video of the shows there, and you can watch us or past shows or whatever. This one included. Like if you miss the first few minutes, no worries, because you go back and you watch it again. So we're very happy to be back. Thank you so much, Chipsters, for hanging in. And thank you for supporting our shows. You know, the show that I did with Sid, who's actually going to be in with us in a few minutes, Sid de la Fuente, and he is from Calo. That is conservative, American, Latino organization. And we didn't have an internet. That big giant tree went down and we had no internet. So all we did was on Facebook, and we're like over 1,000 views, just that. So we appreciate the support.
Thank you for viewing and watching our show.
Yeah, I keep hearing a noise, but it's not my phone. I hear a buzz. So anyway, we have a really great show. I'm going to tell you who's going to be on, then we're going to do our announcements and all that good stuff. But later in the show, like I said, we'll bring Sid in. And he's going to be kind of like another co-host with us and give us an update on his organization. We also are going to have Leslie White. She's with Americans for Prosperity. And she's going to talk to us about the Invest for Ed proposition that's coming up in November. There's a lot of stuff you may not know about it that might affect your taxes. And then the first guest that we'll have here in just a few minutes is our good friend Nancy Brady with 40 Days for Life Phoenix. Yes. And we're going to start a campaign here soon, and that's where we're having her back to bring us up to date. But I want to give a big thank you also to our new intern, Armin, who's doing a fantastic job. He's taking care, he's at the helm, you know. Julian just puts him on there, and what are you, smoking a cigar or something back there, Julian? I don't know. And he's taking care of us. He's doing a great job. Also, I want to give kudos to Secretonia. She's not in studio with us today, but she always does the cocotazos and the whole enchilada awards for us. And she's behind the scenes helping us with all kinds of good stuff. And Julian Allison, who is the technical director. Thank you, Julian. And thank you, Brandon Jones, who is the director of Center Right Radio. Right. Okay, so let's see. George, I wanted to, you wanted to announce this. I don't want to forget about it.
Yeah, they're going to have, the Republican Party is going to have a United for Victory tour. It's on Wednesday, the 29th at 9:30 a.m. at the West Valley GOP office at 150 West Bell Road, Suite 50 in Sun City for all active Republicans and those voting Republican. It'll be for all the federal, statewide, and local candidates in Arizona will be in attendance, including the governor, Doug Ducey. There'll be coffee, bagels, and donuts will be provided. Again, it's on 8/29 at 9:30 on Bell Road, Suite 50. The address is 1050 West Bell Road, Suite 50, Sun City, Arizona. So don't miss it. It's the day after elections, and it should be really good. It's in the morning, so if you can make it, we'd love to have you there.
And it's our big primary Tuesday coming up, boys. So if you, and you know, that's another thing. You could go back on our site, on the Center Right Radio site. We've interviewed a lot of candidates, and you can go check them out, see what they said, see if you hate it, you love it, whatever. And I also want to mention, I don't know how familiar you are with it, George, but the city of Phoenix is planning to put light rail in South Central Phoenix, and that's in my neighborhood.
Yep.
They are going to have some South Central Light Rail community meetings, and I am a person, I oppose it for a lot of different reasons. Money, the city of Glendale actually rejected having light rail because they saw into the future and saw they could not afford it. It was too much. The maintenance was going to be too much. I've been to community forums. There are people that have testified that a lot of crime comes with it. People where the light rail goes into their neighborhood where it looks like it should be a good thing. It hasn't been. So I would really like for you to come to these meetings, and I'll post this, but the first one is going to be on Thursday the 30th at 6 p.m. It is at the Audubon Center, 3131 South Central Avenue in Phoenix. So again, that's Thursday the 30th at 6 p.m. at the Audubon Center, 3131 South Central. They're also having one Tuesday, September 4th at Cesar Chavez Community School, another on Thursday, September 6th, and then about 3 more. So this is done by Valley Metro, and they want to inform the community, but it's also a great opportunity for you as a citizen to exercise your right to make your voice known. And I plan to be at as many meetings as possible there, because after all, this is your community. And I just want to say, I work Park Central, and I also work downtown. So I've seen the transition, and it's a tough transition. It's increased my commute 5 or 10 minutes as I work at Park Central. And Nancy can probably speak to that too. We kind of live in the same neighborhood. And I think maybe for some instances, the light rail does work, because down there you have government, businesses, there are big music venues, concert venues, and different things. Medical is down there. So there is a need to get people there. But in our little community, I just don't think it's going to be a good fit. And as you know, it's 4 lanes, no trains. But even if it's made into 4 lanes, it's going to be a tight squeeze. And I would just love for you to come out and make your opinion known. Do you have any birthdays today, George?
Nope.
No
But
birthdays?
I just want to remind everybody, if you have early ballots, don't mail them. Go take them to your precinct polling place on Friday, today's Saturday. On Monday, there'll be some polling places will be open, and all the polling places will be open on Tuesday. Take it on Tuesday. Stop by. They're open till 7 p.m. and they open at 6 and they close at 7 p.m. Right at 7 p.m. So you can drop it off anywhere in any polling place. If you need to know your polling place, go to maricopa.gov and push locations, and it'll tell you where to go. Please take in your early ballots. It's very important.
And if you're in line at 7 o'clock, you'll still get to vote. But
Yes, if you're in line when the marshal announced 7 o'clock, the last person in line that's where the line ends at 7 o'clock. So that last person will be able to go in, even if it's at 7:30. If the line is super long, that last person will get to vote.
And I just saw this on television today, George. I was sharing it with you before the show. But evidently, right now, for Arizona's primary election, this is kind of a tally of the registered voters. So we have 21,960 new voters. And this is the breakdown, George. And just another mention, the reason we exist this show, we're both Latino Republicans, and we want a voice for Latinos. And of course, we like the Republican Party. We have 1.2 million Republican, 1.1 million Democrats. So we're still ahead of the Democrats, but barely. And we're tied, George. 1.2 million independent is tied with a Republican. And then I think it says like 1% green/libertarian. But, we have to hang on. If you really want a constitutional republic, you're going to have to get involved. You're going to have to make it happen, because Californians are moving in here. A lot of people are moving into Arizona because we have a great state, and we want to keep it red and keep it great. Right, George?
Yep. And I believe there's going to be a red wave here in November. They keep talking about a blue wave. It's not going to be a blue wave. It's going to be a red wave. But we have to be strong. We got to keep it up until November, because we can't take anything for granted.
Absolutely. I just want to remind you too, if you're watching us on Facebook, we would love, if you haven't liked our page yet, Chips Letter N Salsa Show, please like our page, and also share it with your friends, because we're always trying to spread the news. All right, so let's see. We've got Jeff Prather also coming up. We're going to be playing that soon on commercial break. And for now, I think, George, shall we go ahead? Oh, I want to say one more thing. Leslie that is going to be our guest, Leslie White. She brought in these terrific cookies. They're called Biff's cookies. They are fantastic. I had 1.5. Oh, they're so good. So if you are out there, Biff's cookies, try them because they are delicious. So let's go ahead. What do you say we bring in Nancy and get that started?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I'd like to welcome back our very good friend Nancy Brady, who's at 40 Days for Life Phoenix. Thank you for coming in here again.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you, George. Thanks for having me on again. Thank you.
We love having you on. Give me your title again.
Okay, so I'm the campaign leader for the 40 Days for Life Phoenix campaign. But I'm here today not only representing my particular campaign, but all of 40 Days for Life. Yeah.
Great. Okay. And if you followed our show, we have Nancy on from time to time, and she has brought in some fantastic guests, ladies who have benefited from this wonderful organization. But go ahead and kind of explain what you, got 30 seconds rack up already. Oh my goodness, goes fast. Okay, so what we'll do when we come back, we're going to talk to Nancy, and she's going to tell us all about her organization and give us an update and how you might want to be a part of it, even though it's kind of, we're both Catholic, we're all Catholic in here, the three of us, but you don't have to be Catholic to join in. So don't go away. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge.
And we'll be back with Nancy Brady with 40 Days for Life Phoenix here on the Chips and Salsa Show on Center Right Radio, right here for you.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Turn off the fake news and turn on Center Right Radio. Online now at centerright.live.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14,
41, 31, 13.
We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
You're listening to America's favorite political discussion on Center Right Radio.
We are back with the Chips and Salsa Show. I'm Alice Lara, here every week at 4 p.m. with my good buddy
Don Jorge, one of Hillary's deplorable ones.
He is, but you know what? There isn't a hard working man in Arizona. We're so glad to have you. It's like you've been gone most of the month.
I've been doing security at the football game, so Lucky me, huh?
Lucky you, yeah.
And working for the county recorder's office as a troubleshooter as of the 1st of August, and now until the 29th, it's a good thing. I'm helping. It's nonpartisan, and I'm helping people go in and use the kiosks and helping them vote, and it's good. I feel like I'm doing something good, and helping the people learn the kiosk, because the kiosk is new, and they got to go up and check in at the kiosk, and it's the independents, of course, can vote Democrat or Republican or Green Party. The Libertarians have a closed the party, so if you're Libertarian, you have to vote Libertarian.
That's it.
But
no, I think you're a great person to be there.
But everything else is like, it's really cool to watch the people vote. And we don't talk politics. We don't tell them who to vote for. They come in and they vote whatever they want to. We're just assisting them in their voting process. And there's many workers that work for the county recorder's office, and they're ranching it up for the Tuesday primary. So it's going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, they're ratcheting up. Okay, cool. All right. Very good. So we're going to get back to our guest, Nancy Brady.
Hey.
Thank you for being here. And we were just about to ask you, before we had to cut away for our break, to explain to us about the 40 Days for Life movement.
Okay, so 40 Days for Life, if no one's heard about it, it's 2 times a year we conduct 2 campaigns, 2 prayer campaigns, and they're also outreach campaigns. So we pray and fast for 40 days during the 40 Days for Life campaign.
And do you actually do that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do. But that has it's something that you develop, especially if you're not used to it. I know, we're Catholic, but and that's but that's a discipline. But because this is a prayer campaign, we do believe that there is a spiritual warfare going on within the abortion culture. And so, which affects all our lives, all the way down from politics to the individual. So, we believe that sometimes there are just some demons that can only be driven out through prayer and fasting. So that's why there's that component. The second component during 40 Days for Life is the community outreach. So something like this that I'm doing, that you guys have been very gracious, every campaign to allow me to come and talk, and so reaching out to our community, to our family, our workplaces, letting people know that, this campaign's going on. It is peaceful, it's prayerful. And so, we don't get into politics. Again, when we ask people to participate, and especially to come out, which is the third component, is coming out to pray at the local designated abortion site. And so for us in Phoenix, the abortion site that we go to and pray in front of is Family Planning Associates, and that's here in Phoenix, near downtown. Tempe, they have a campaign, and they pray at the Tempe Planned Parenthood. And then in Glendale, there's a Planned Parenthood out there by 59th Avenue around there, and UG, which is just south of Thunderbird Road. And that's, and that's a very busy place as well. And so there's a campaign that's held there. So when we ask people to come and pray, we ask them to respect to come out and respect the laws, and, and not talk politics, because what we're trying to do is just focus. We want anybody, no matter, there's lots of, there's Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Libertarians that are very pro-life. And so what we just try to do is get anybody who's willing to come out and show that prayerful support. That's what changes hearts there at the sidewalk. And especially with, those clinic workers, the abortionists, if they see that we are praying and that we're showing love, then they're more likely to have seeds planted in their hearts, and God can do a lot with that,
I can tell from a first-hand experience, it's very powerful. I got to go to one. It was the Planned Parenthood that was in Tempe, that is no longer there, right, at that location.
That's right, yes.
And everything that Nancy is saying is exactly true. And it's very powerful, and this group is very calm. And when they talk to people, I kind of listened in on some conversations, and they're not, you know, we're so used to now seeing on TV these very violent and intimidating people, and that's not what you're going to see in this group. And I'm hoping that I can make another one this time around too, because, and even if you come out just for a little bit and just to pray and hang with people, just to see what's going on there, you'll be so impressed. You really will be. And I can't thank you for everything that you do. It's very powerful.
Yeah, it is. It's I've had many experiences along with my fellow campaign leaders, you know, but so many experiences. You can see people's hearts changing, you know, and you can see even with the clinic staff workers that are around there. Usually when we first start, and especially when I first started over at Family Planning, you know, the clinic staff workers did not like that we were out there. But, you know, we're just steadfast, consistent with doing what we were supposed to do there, doing what was ours, and, you know, and then they just started leaving us alone. You know, I've had people, because I've been out there a lot, especially during the campaigns, I devote time to be out there as much as I can during the day. And sometimes I'm out there by myself. And I've had some people come out and, you know, just come out and take a picture with their phone, you know, and it, you know, but for the most part, and some dialogue, and I've had some really awesome dialogue with people about the abortion issue. I mean, you know, just people that maybe don't agree with what I'm doing, but they want to hear a different approach. They want to know why I'm there, you know, because they don't see me yelling at anybody or others. They don't see that. So they want to know, okay, I've heard this from, you know, this group of people that I hang around with, you know, and so I want to hear from you, you know. I have this question. I believe that life is, you know, is special, but the circumstances, rape and incest, you know, what about those? And so if I can dialogue with that person, and especially if they've shared a little bit, something personal about themselves, it gives me that opportunity to say, okay, I recognize your humanity. Now, your humanity is special and unique, and I want you to look at the unborn, especially even in the cases of rape and incest. Their dignity is no less. You know, so it just dialogue. It's peaceful dialogue, and I've just had so many experiences. I feel very blessed over those experiences.
As I observed, you're making people think also, because even if they have the scientific facts and all that, it's the human experience, as you say. Yeah. I want you to make sure how people want to find information and everything. Give that information out before we continue.
Okay, sure. Well, what I would suggest is just Google 40 Days for Life, and then you can select your specific campaign. You know, so there's one here in the local Phoenix area. There's Phoenix, there's Tempe, there's Glendale. There's even a campaign in Flagstaff, Arizona. So, you know, so folks that are up that way, please, you know, seek out these campaigns, sign up, devote some time. If you've never gone out, give the campaign leaders a call, see if it's possible, you know, if you're uncomfortable being out there by yourself, you know, see if they can come out there, or if they know if somebody's going to be there at a certain time, somebody to pray with you. I've had many people call me and they said, hey, you know, I felt called to do this, but I've never done this before, and you know, you think you can be out there with me? And so, you know, we'll make arrangements, and I'll go out there and explain things, and you know, and some of those people have been very people that actually turn out to be helping co-leaders with me. Wow. Yeah, you know, because they had a strong call.
If people don't know the value of a birth of a baby, I just held my grandson. He was about this from my palm to my wrist right here, and holding a little baby that size, just born a few days, it's priceless. You know, I was a grandson, but it was so priceless holding that baby, you know, in your hand, and so small. That person's going to grow up, and you know, if you're going to abort a baby, I mean, you got to think of the poor baby. The baby is what you make of it, you know. It's
and your little grandson only weighed, I remember Sonia told us, like 6 pounds.
Yeah, it was.
I think I weighed 6 pounds.
It was so little. It's like his head was like right here, and it was so
precious. Kind of small now for a baby, and to think that that life could be in such jeopardy.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. It's a horrendous thought.
It is, and that's why, you know, with 40 Days for Life, we work with other organizations. We work with the local pregnancy centers, so that if there is anybody that needs help, we can send them straight over to the pregnancy centers that we network with, you know, or give them a phone number that they can call to try to, you know, find one that's closest to them. But you know, so it's the outreach of, you know, there's organizations like Silent No More, you know, that are for post-abortive people, and that helps with the healing. It also helps with the outreach, because then, you know, you touch one person, you help them to find healing, then they can help others to find healing as well. There's Live Action, which is an incredible, I mean, if you haven't looked them up, Google them up, liveaction.org, and they're amazing. They really are doing so much work to not only promote the dignity of life and to try to change hearts, but the way that they're doing it through media, and they're educating the public on what abortion is. You know, most people just think that, hey, you know, Roe versus Wade, it's, you know, it's 3 months and no abortions happen after 3 months. Most people don't even know that it can go all the way to birth, you know, for somebody to have an abortion. So they're educating how an abortion is done. And again, you know, it's knowledge. You can have the smartest people, celebrities, you know, intellectual people, and they can be very, very pro-choice. They can totally ignore the humanity, the injustice that's happening to these preborn children. But if you educate people, and you start, you know, wherever you're at, and you start educating people who don't know what abortion is, and you start letting them see what it is, it changes people.
I can imagine. It's just extremely powerful. Now, there is an opening mass that will also be happening, right?
Yes. So Tuesday, September 25th, we have a joint opening mass, and so that will be at St. Mary's Basilica in downtown, 6:30 p.m., and it will be officiated by Bishop Thomas Olmsted, and we're also hoping to be able to have a few speakers there as well, and so that, you know, people that come, you can join us and you can meet the campaign leaders. And then I believe...
I'm going to have to cut you off.
Yo, go, okay.
Sure. But thank you, Nancy Brady.
Okay.
We're going to put more information on the show. We hope you come back and give us a report later on.
Okay.
So remember, it's 40 Days for Life Phoenix, but it is 40 Days for Life National. Go to the opening mass and we'll have information on there. Thank you again for coming in. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Alice. Thank you.
And we'll be right back with more of the Chips and Salsa Show here with Alice Donna and
Don Holthair.
Don't go away.
Hey everybody, Jeff Prather here, ex-government insider, now living outside the box, speaking truth to power on the Chips and Salsa Show with this week's Prather Point. So I have told you my whistleblower story. I have told you about Fast and Furious, how under Obama, ATF was running guns south, DEA was running drugs north. We were running cash to Iran. Told you about many covert, corrupt government operations, and have warned you about this repeatedly, and talked about how Comey, McCabe, Strzok, Brennan have all lied and leaked and should be prosecuted. Certainly so should Hillary and Holder and Lynch and even Obama, because really Obama is at the central part of all this. But no one pays attention because we are slowly having our youth become collectivists, communists, Stalinists, socialists, whatever you want, is where the collectivist state indoctrinates the youth to turn against their parents, their clergy, their teachers, anyone who stands up against the mindset of the state. That's exactly what's happening on college campuses. That's exactly what's happening with Antifasta. Where they're the fascists, they're the ones who won't let anyone speak. But it's much, much worse. You know, I will tell you, I have talked to folks who were at Benghazi who said that they were held at gunpoint from going to rescue our ambassador and the heroes that died there and sacrificed there, held at gunpoint. I will tell you that I've talked to the people who have said that Comey has come out to them when they found the Obama original birth certificate and come to them to see how they did it. I have talked to people who Stroke covered up evidence of Huma Abedin's husband of Wiener, his child abuse. It's much, much worse than we think, generally speaking. And our intelligence community, our Department of Justice is no longer working for us. They're working against us. All the eyes are turned inwards, and it's very, very serious. And we have to keep Trump in office. We have to elect more Freedom Caucus Republicans. Let the rhinos die. The Democratic Party is basically dead on its own, but get involved. All politics is local, and make sure you are going to vote. Generally speaking, vote out incumbents and vote in veterans, generally speaking. Anyway, for more Prather, go to jeffreyprather.com, warriorschool.com. And if you're interested in hearing more, you can always reach out for me at info@warriorschool.com. This is Jeff Prather on the Chips and Salsa Show with this week's Prather Point.
And we are back with the Chips and Salsa Show. I'm Alice Slaughter with
Don Jorge, one of Hillary Clinton's deplorable Trumpers.
a master one. And if you listen to our show, special thanks to Nancy Brady with 40 Days for Life Phoenix. She did a terrific job. And sincerely, if you've never been a part of that and you want to find out about it, I encourage you to go to one of their events, because it's very powerful, and you'll meet some wonderful people, and you don't have to worry you're not going to be put on the spot. And it doesn't matter if you're a Catholic, whatever. If we all pray together, we're all in this to save lives. And even if you don't do that, I mean, we can always pray to end abortion. It's legal, but we can always pray. And prayer is very powerful. It really is.
It is powerful.
So I'd like to bring on our next two guests, and actually we welcome back Sid de la Fuente from Calo.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me back. I appreciate it. Thank you for being so humble.
Oh, no, we're so happy to have you. And that's Conservative American Latino Organization. We had him on a couple of weeks ago, and he's gonna be kind of like a co-host in this segment. He's kind of feeling it out. So we appreciate you coming back. And before I forget, why don't you say when your next meeting is?
Our next meeting will be September 8th. It'll be from 8 to 10. And unfortunately, it's in Culver's, in the Culver's restaurant in Avondale, just south of I-10.
Okay.
So you get off, go I-10 west, get off on Avondale Avenue, and we're just south of the I-10.
So you just go back under the freeway.
Back under the freeway.
Boom, it's on the left
It's
side.
on the left side.
And I've been
8 to
there.
10.
Awesome food, great meeting. Hopefully I'll get there for September.
And we'll have some good speakers also.
Fantastic.
And plus we'll have an open, we will probably be discussing an event that we'll probably be having on September 16th.
Nice.
Hopefully in Maryville Park.
And what day is the one at Culver's?
September 8th.
Did you get the Hispanic conservative?
What time?
Conservative Hispanic?
Mm-hmm.
You got him?
No, I did not
shoot.
get him. I'm trying to get him, the Hispanic conservative.
What time?
8 o'clock, from 8 to 10. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. The restaurant has graciously opened up their doors before they open for us to be there.
Culver's. Got it.
So yes, so come if you can, and hopefully George and I will be there and invite others. And you don't necessarily have to be Latino,
No,
Latina.
it's open. It's open to all.
Right on. And then we'd also like to welcome to the show for the first time. Dun, da, 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 we have Leslie White. She's with Americans for Prosperity. And any other titles you'd like to tell us about. But she's going to talk to us today. She's a Republican activist, and she's going to talk to us about a particular proposition that we'll be voting on in November. But before we do that, we have to talk about something really exciting that happened in our studio today. That those Biff's cookies are so good. But tell us that story, Leslie.
Sure, absolutely. George and Alice, thanks so much for having me. I feel like I'm behind the golden IEB, the rush limb.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is really awesome, and you guys are both so kind and gracious to have me. I'm really good friends with the Ledgerwoods, and Biff is a Brophy graduate, and he graduated from Brophy High School and went to Pepperdine, and then he stayed out in the San Diego area. And they had a grandmother by the name of Gaga. And Gaga was a very good baker. And she was the kind of grandmother that would send cookies out, individually wrapped, to her grandkids, that being Leslie Van Borsen and Biff.
And I know Leslie on Facebook.
Right, and they would hog the cookies. Well, what happened was Biff moved into the direction of being a baker of incredible cookies. This cookie right here is a peanut butter cookie, the best cookie in the entire world. They had a store in San Diego. They've had a store in San Diego for 30 plus years, have been received numerous awards for all their cookies. And one of the things that has happened to the economy with the change in the administration is that businesses are thriving now, and people are investing in business. And they just opened a brand new store about 6.5 months ago. It is on 7th Street. It's at 6239 North 7th Street. And I'm telling you, these are the most incredible cookies, made with the finest ingredients. And what's kind of neat is you can freeze them and then take them out, put them in the microwave for about 10 seconds, and they are just like freshly baked cookies once again. So phenomenal. And I like to promote small business because that's really what we're all about. So thank you for allowing me to do this, and shout out to Leslie Van Borsen and Biff. Now Biff, her brother, we need prayers for Biff. Biff has gone through throat cancer. He just finished up his last radiation treatment yesterday, and so prayers for him. Being in San Diego, we all do believe in the power of prayer. God does do miraculous healing. So hats off to Biff. He's just a trooper, and his adorable sister, Leslie Van Borsen, who is a dear friend and mentor, good friends of mine. The reason why I'm here is I work for an organization called Americans for Prosperity. And as you know, our forefathers fought for our freedoms that we have.
Correct.
And we kind of do the same thing. We fight for everyday people to protect the American dream, and we fight for lower taxes, less government regulation, and we want to make sure that everybody has a little bit more prosperity in their pocket. Something good has happened recently in America, and that's the tax breaks that the current administration put through, and so we all kind of have a little bit more money in our pocket. And Sid and I were talking a little bit earlier today. The businesses are kind of booming. I work over near 32nd and Indian School, and that foot traffic, there's a retail center that just has exploded. But there's something really bad that could happen to the economic prosperity that we've had in the state. And there's a ballot proposition. And that ballot proposition is called Prop 207, and it's called Invest for Ed.
They sure named it well, didn't they? They do a good job with that.
And my mom was a teacher, God love her. She is now resting in heaven somewhere. I love teachers. I still remember every single one of my elementary school teachers. They had such a big...
I do too.
I had good teachers also.
Good teachers.
Yeah.
They were great teachers.
Phenomenal teachers. So this isn't a teacher thing. We love teachers. But at Americans for Prosperity in Arizona, we want to look at the economic impact of this proposition. And there's a lot of misnomers that this is going to just go after the 1%ers. The fact of the matter is, that's not true. We are all going to be impacted, and all of our taxes are going to go up. And Prop 207, it's mean and wrong. It's mean and wrong.
Well, that's not, of course, how they're selling it. You know, so someone's going to say, oh, that's not right, Leslie. But you're going to tell us why. What's the real deal?
Well, the real deal is they sold it that there was just going to be a slight percentage increase. If you go from 3% to 7% or 4% to 9%. But in essence, what happens is you have to do the math the right way, and that's like a 78% increase and almost a 98% increase based on the income that you're at. So it's very misleading. But what's really important to know is in Arizona, if this does pass, Arizona income taxes will be the 5th highest in the nation. The 5th.
The 5th highest?
What are we right now? Do you know?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't want to give you the wrong answer.
Sure, but I know we're not.
No.
Not the 5th.
Yeah.
No.
A lot of people move here for that reason because we have lower taxes.
So California's at 13.3%. Hawaii's at 11%. Oregon is at 9.9%. Minnesota is at 9.85%. And then Arizona would come in at 9%.
9%.
So let's just think about that. This would really hurt the economy here in Arizona because think about the Southwest and think about the other states that are around us. Nevada, they don't have an income tax. Utah, 5%. Colorado, 4.63%. New Mexico, 4.9%. And Arizona, 9%. We would be 9%. So if you're a business owner here, and a lot of people, when they do their taxes, they file their small business under an S corp, and that's the category of people which are going to be really impacted by this. So if you're a small business owner, do you really want to stay in Arizona?
So let me make this correct. So just as your friend here, the bakery,
yep,
they decided to build a bakery here in Arizona on Center Street.
Right.
So really, in reality, it's the economic has for tax breaks and that we've gotten have helped a lot of the small businesses.
Sure.
They're even building.
Right.
I know I told you outside. I took a trip, me and my wife, before we got here, all around the area, coming up here, and you could see a lot of what you didn't see a lot before was a lot of manufacturing places, fast food places, all with help wanted signs.
Yeah.
All with help wanted. They're thriving for people to work.
Yep.
And then this would just cut it.
So that means if I had a small business, it would behoove me to move to New Mexico if the tax rate was higher here. If I had a business that dealt with selling stuff in Arizona, I could still have the business over there and still sell the stuff out here, but my business, I'd be taxed less as a business owner.
Right, and that's a lot of business owners will take into consideration. This is big, and it's mean. It's really mean, and we're all going to.
You know what? And that's a really good word.
It's
to
mean
use.
and it's
Learn from the
wrong.
liberals to use those words.
Yes.
So, like Ross Perot would say, it would create a sucking motion towards of jobs going that way instead of coming back here.
And what's interesting is if this does pass, so this was voter protected, and what I mean by that is they had to go out and they had to collect signatures to get on the ballot. They collected, I think, about 270. They needed about 150,000. When everybody looked at all the petitions, the good, the bad, and the ugly ones, they got down to about 246, and so that is on the ballot right now. It's voter protected. What we mean by that is, if it passes, we're thinking, oh, the legislative session's going to start up in January, and it's not any good, and so our elected officials down at the Capitol can do something about it. No, they can't.
They can't do nothing about it.
And we can't do nothing about it because we got to go on a break right now. But when we come back, we're going to finish this up, and we're going to do the Cocothas's whole enchiladas. But don't go away. We got more. Alice, George,
Don
Sid,
Jorge.
and Leslie here on the Chips and Salsa Show for Center Right Radio. Right here for you.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Turn off the fake news and turn on Center Right Radio. Online now at centerright.live.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
41, 31, I mean 13. We
took a left on Carroll
Raccoon
Street. Danny's
There were so
smart,
many
but he gets
sounds.
distracted.
I
Realized he
there
forgot his
for one
homework.
I
I hope he
don't
doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the search engine and digital marketing race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
You're listening to America's favorite political discussion on Center Right Radio.
And we're back, and I want to say a special thank you to all the chipsters, the chipsteros out there listening to us, and follow us on Facebook. You know what? We love you guys, and we appreciate you so much. I'm Alice Lara, here with
Don Jorge El Alacran.
is my partner in Radio Crime, and in special in our studio today we have Sid de la Fuente from Calo.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we're going to go right back to talk to Leslie some more about this Proposition 207. Leslie White, thank you, with Americans for Prosperity. You got a great shirt there to hold up, don't you?
I do. I want to hold that up. What does that say, Alice?
It says, ideas don't work unless you do.
Absolutely. So as a grassroots director here in Arizona, we are identifying people in the 15 counties that are with us on the issue in regards to voting no against Proposition 207. And what we need to do is we need to have people go talk to their neighbors and make sure that they actually do vote. So we're identifying people that are with us on the issues in neighborhoods. And then we need to have super volunteer neighborhood leaders to go out and knock on their door and make a phone call to make sure that they actually do vote. Sometimes that extra nudge saying, hey, listen, you really need to vote. This is really important. You can't sit on the couch. You can't think that somebody else is going to do this for you. If people have a question, they can call me at my cell phone at 480-290-2286. Again, that's 480-290-2286. My email address is L as in Leslie and then white, like the color white, at afphq.org. And we're looking for a couple of thousand volunteers. And just think, we have 2,000 people actually go to their neighbors. They knock on 50 to 100 doors. That's the marginal difference. And this is a policy fight. This isn't a candidate deal. We all know it's candidate crazy season, and everybody's upset about what candidate says what. This is a policy thing. This impacts everybody.
And Leslie, also, when you are talking to your candidates out there, ask them about these propositions. Ask them what they think and what their opinion is. And one of the things that the four of us were talking about during the break, if this thing passes, the only way to reverse it is another proposition, right? Because it's done by the voters. It's an initiative done by the voters, and that's how Arizona law works. It's very, very serious.
What's bad about it is we'll become like all the democratic states out there that are overtaxed, New York, California, that they tax you to the yin-yang. And that's what they're trying to do. The people that have come out that were coming from states like California, New York, Washington, that have high state taxes, and what they're going to do is make Arizona into another Democratic state. Do you want that? I don't think so. I think the people, the independents, the Republicans, and even Democrats don't want our state to be a tax state. And this proposition, 207?
207.
207 is a false proposition because they're writing on the back of Red for Ed, and it's not Red for Ed. It's tax the yin yang out of you, and if you want your taxes to go up,
get a sign
beware.
With that. Tax the yin yang.
Beware. These people are very, very smart. They know how to word it to make it look like it's a good thing. It's not. It's a bad thing. And I don't want my taxes to go up. And yeah, they said they're going to tax the rich and the business owners. They're really going to be taxing us. Everybody gets affected by this.
It will affect everyone.
That is a great point, Jordan. It's like I've always thought this initiative, they always wrote, when they brought it out, it's like the 1%ers. Okay, a lot of people are always saying 1%. Yeah, those are the rich people. Those are the ones that, yeah, they have the money. They can afford to be taxed a little bit more. But now you look at this initiative, we're all going to be taxed. Even the middle class, which the middle class, we want to keep the middle class.
Right.
So we're just going to be taxed. Like you say, the state be a tax city that people say, well, too high. Why do you think a lot of people are leaving California?
They're overtaxed. Houses are ridiculous.
Yes, property, everything. They're just overtaxed and over-regulated. They had to come somewhere. So are we going to be, since we're close to them, is this state going to be just a duplicate of California?
And then after that is socialism. And,
there you go.
And
it is a path to socialism.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's what the other side is doing. I love my country, and I love living here in Arizona. I love California, but I don't love the tax, and I don't like their laws. And so, I think that we should wake up.
And that's why everybody's leaving California, because they're tired of all that. So why do we want to copy them? We don't.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Any last thoughts before we go on to the cocotazos and whole enchiladas?
Get engaged. Make a difference.
Could you give your number one more time?
Sure. My number is 480-290-2286. Email address is lwhite@afphq.org. Get out the vote, not just in Maricopa, but in all of our 15 counties.
The whole state?
The whole state.
Do you have yard signs yet?
We don't have yard signs now.
You probably will at some point, or can we get those shirts? Can people go and
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll give them a shirt. If they sign up, I will give them a shirt.
See, you get a shirt
yeah,
out of it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have some shirts for both you and George.
Okay, we'll have to wear that on one of our next shows.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, we'll wear the next one.
Okay, perfect.
And the shirts are powerful. I always, I love T-shirts. I love to wear them.
Right.
And you're out somewhere. It's amazing when people, I know it's happened to you guys. You're like me too. Hey, what's that? What's that all about? Wear them. Yeah. It's powerful, and just take them and explain to them. And if you don't want to take the time, give them Leslie's information.
Right.
She can.
You know how the T-shirts make a difference. Kelly Ward's one of 3 that is running for Senate. They have these yellow T-shirts. You see them everywhere, and it's like it's impacting.
They pop.
They pop out. They're eye openers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. All right, so thank you so much for coming in, Leslie. We hope you come back.
I will.
And give us a progress report on what's going on. And it's clear to know where we all stand here on that. And Armin, too. It looks like he's on board as well. He's a young feller, but he knows his economics. Okay, so now let's go on to the cocotazo.
Well, I want to say one thing. Our senator here in Arizona, John McCain, stopped his medical treatment. So our prayers go out to the John McCain family, regardless of our political thoughts about him or the way he leans left or right. This is a thing where prayers. Everybody's got to send their prayers to the family because he. When you stop cancer treatment like that, it's a big deal, and it's just a matter of time and everything. So unless God has miracles, all we can do is pray for his family. So I just want to mention that.
We do. He's been a big part of Arizona, and that was very well said, George. Thank you. I had that on my little list here, and I'm glad you remembered. Okay, so every week we do, what do we have, a few minutes left, Armin? Think we got time to do this?
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Every week we have what we call the Cocotazo Awards and the Whole Enchilada Awards. The Whole Enchiladas, as you can imagine, that's when somebody does something good. We nominate them. But the Cocotazo is something different, and George likes to explain what it is.
The cocotazo in Puerto Rican is when you say something stupid in the family or in a gathering, your mom comes behind your head and just kind of gives you a little cocotazo, a little nap on your head, kind of just make you, kind of see that it's something stupid. And Mexican, it's the chanclazo. Well, they take the slipper from and they just sling it across the room, and they get your attention that way. And I guess the cocotazo, we call it the cocotazo award because it's the dumb things that happen that we consider dumb and kind of worthy of a nomination.
So what we'll do, and you can follow us if you go to our Facebook site. We post them up during the week, and Sonia collects them for us. I'm going to whip through this list real quick, then we'll go around the room because I know we don't have that much time, and pick what you think. Okay. I'm sorry, this is such a good one. Al Sharpton tells Trump to show some respect. R-E-S-P-I-C-T. The great singer Aretha Franklin recently passed away, and I love Aretha Franklin, but he spelled it R-E-S-P-I-C-T. Okay, number 2. Tweakers on Van Buren in Phoenix getting stuck in trash cans. If you saw that, that was sad. Kind of funny, but sad. Number 3. Protesters knocked down Silent Sam statue, which stood on the UNC campus, University of North Carolina campus, since 1913. Very sad. Number 4, video shows Denver mayor's 22-year-old son threatening a police officer. Did you see that? Yeah. Do you know who my daddy is? Oh, brother. Number 5, man detained by ICE agents who was just driving his pregnant wife to hospital to give birth. More to the story, the media is not saying. Number 6, North Carolina 10-year-old was punished for calling a teacher ma'am. Yes, ma'am. He got in trouble. He got in trouble for it. All right, guys, let's go. Want to pick one?
I think the one, what was it? I forget.
We'll
come back to me.
I'll give it to Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton, I know.
I'll give it to him.
How about you, Leslie?
I would agree.
Yeah.
Oh, I know which one it was. The one that was taking his pregnant wife to the hospital. He was wanted for murder in Mexico. And in Mexico, to be wanted for murder, you have to commit a few murders before they actually, so this guy is a bad guy. And by what I understand, that it was the right thing to do. I mean, he was a wanted criminal.
Right. There's so many good ones. This is always so hard for me because I like the multi.
I like that Al Sharpton one too.
Yeah, that was just it cracks me up. It cracks me up. Okay, well that one's gonna win because it's got 2 for sure. I want to go with this kid who had to brag about his daddy being the mayor and how embarrassing for his dad. The big cocotazo. But Al Sharpton is the winner. R-E-S-P-I-C-T. Okay, whole enchilada. We got 2 nominees. And this is because we like good stuff too. So
the whole enchilada is somebody we nominate that's a good thing. Yeah, positive. We call it the whole enchilada.
So Vice President Pence doesn't miss a beat the moment a congressman's wife trips coming off Air Force 2. Did you see that? Oh my goodness, he was right there, boy. He was fast. Number 2, Candace Owens, and this was a little bit older, but we hadn't put it on there. Number 2, Candace Owens calls out left's hypocrisy on race to liberal professor's face. So I want to pick the vice president because you know what? He's kind of always there. And when you're vice president, people forget that the vice president exists. So I'm going to give it to the vice president.
To react that fast, I think that was a good thing, because he just turned right over and helped her right away. Maybe somebody else would have just like.
But can you get that?
Can you get that?
Yeah, you're right, George. How about you, Sid?
Same thing. I'll go with that one. Yeah, the vice president shows that too. Like you say, somebody else could have said, "Go. Can you take care of that? Can you take?" But he was man enough.
Have his handlers do it.
Right.
Yeah, manners. And he was man enough to say.
Because you got handlers,
Yeah.
Handle that.
Yeah, he was faster than them. Yeah. How about you, Leslie?
Definitely Vice President Pence. He is just a good man. And we need to pray for him and pray for President Trump every day. Absolutely. Classy guy. He's a classy guy.
2020 with President Trump, and then the future president, Pence, 2024 and 2026, right? Boy, the Dems' heads are going to be really exploding.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So that was our whole enchilada winner, Vice President Pence. Thank you very, very much. All right, George, anything else before we sign off for this weekend's show? It's Primary Tuesday. Don't forget the vote.
Don't forget the primary vote. If you haven't voted early vote, go Tuesday and vote. And if you have early ballots, turn them into your nearest precinct or your nearest polling place. It's very important to vote. It's what makes everybody citizens, and that's why you register to vote, so you can vote and you can make your voice heard. So go ahead and vote. Turn in your early votes, and if you haven't, and or if you didn't have early voting, go ahead and vote at your nearest polling place. So
it's very precious.
Tuesday.
A lot of guys died for that vote. It's very precious. And remind your neighbors also to vote. Sid, parting words?
No, get out and vote.
And your meeting is again?
And our meeting is September 8th, and it'd be from 8 to 10 at Culver's.
And that's Galo, okay? This wonderful hat, which is very popular. Conservative
American
Latino organization. I got this great hat, and you're saying when you join, you're going to get a hat.
You'll get a hat and a shirt. That'll be membership.
Makes me want to go join.
That's right.
We also got a website on that is being worked on. It's called, you can get it at OLA, QUE.com.
All right.
Oh, I like that. Very nice. Leslie, how about you? Anything?
Yeah, final segment. You want to read that again?
Ideas don't work
unless you do.
Nice. Thank you, all of you, for coming in. We appreciate it. We're just about out of time, Armin. Okay, Armin, thank you very much. Great job, as always. Appreciate it. We'll be back. Yay. We'll be back next week, Saturday, 4 p.m. here on Center Right Radio. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge.
Thanks again. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to vote Tuesday.
Big vote.